Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Roll call in advance, you don't even gotta mention. Swap it in the decks, you're not bullish enough. Trade it in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Jaggleby. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity. Flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Udo 2 on the way. Yeah. Nicky's. Yeah. OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recap, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the spec. Ordinal's the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy. On this channel, we cover the entire Bitcoin and crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? An amazing show for you guys today. We're live with another OnChain hour, and this one is going to be crazy because actually the off-chain stuff is absolutely insane. We got, the big thing happening tomorrow with the Trump thing, like World Liberty Financial, like doubling everything they have. So bullish. They actually are starting a SUI type of strategic reserve. It's wild. It's wild stuff. Really cool stuff. We're gonna get into how the frogs and bitmaps are running for all you Ordinals guys. Don't worry, we got you guys covered. The Tau ecosystem seems to be heating up. We're gonna get into that a little bit, and yeah, a monster show, guys. And then it is Thursday, so we got Nick from Arch joining us, give us some updates of how everything was in Denver and how's everything going with their launch potentially hopefully this quarter. That'd be really cool, but if not, maybe next quarter. But I'm really looking forward to Arch and what Arch is going to bring to the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're somebody who's not really paying attention, they're actually going to be using Solana in kind of like the back end and actually finishing the transactions on Bitcoin in a kind of a roll up. Think what Base is doing to Ethereum, right? So this is really cool. We really are excited for Arch. So it's awesome that they join us every Thursday. But without further ado, let me bring in my partner here, as always, Mr. Iago B. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How you doing today? Tomorrow's a monstrous day. A lot of emotions, a lot of things going on. Bitcoin's really having a good day, sitting at $91,054. How's everything with you?
Everything's good for now, right? This is how it's been, right? This is the emotional roller coaster we've been on. So right now we're seeing the volatility on the upside. So it feels better when it goes up. So yeah, there's some major catalysts though that are coming up. We have the potential rate cut. We have the M2 money supply, which we'll get into, I'm sure, here in a bit. And then we have this event tomorrow that supposedly a lot of information is going to come out and to the crypto public in the US. So there's definitely exciting catalysts that could really change momentum. A lot of people on the timeline are calling for crazy upside, but I'm gonna just kind of take it day by day, because when I get too excited, things seem to pull back on this emotional roller coaster, and I just want to be ready for whatever happens next.
Yeah, 100%. I'm actually starting to get numb to news. Like, like the Bybit stuff that happened, it didn't really affect me. The good news that's happening doesn't really affect me. News anymore doesn't affect me anymore. And I think that's because it's been 10 months of just it should be the bullish bear run that we've all expected because the news is there, right? The news is there, especially on the good stuff. And the bad news isn't that bad. It's kind of very normal, especially in a bull run. So it's like I'm very numb to news right now. It just seems to be traders trading the volatility because it has been really volatile. But I definitely start to think that with this M2 money supply thing and a lot of people are coming out and seeing his chart and being like, oh shit, like he's right. Like Colin talks crypto. Yet Cointelegraph come out. We'll get into that a little later, and they posted the same chart and they're like, yeah, this is something to look into. His timeline of March 25th. I mean, dude, that really could take off, and I'm definitely excited for that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what people are really, pointing to is that March 25th. You had people like Jason Williams posting on crypto Twitter, calling for crazy, like I think 140K or something like that.
Yeah.
And they're all saying March 25th. So I guess they're all aligned with him on that date.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense too because we got CPI coming next week. The Fed meeting coming, I think, the 22nd. I got to look into that, but it does seem everything's lining up with a rate cut potential. If Jerome comes out and he says, we're going to pause, tightening, which basically could be the very beginning of quantitative easing. I mean, who knows? Who knows what could happen the next 3 months? So I'm truly believe that the spring is going to be monstrous with a very slow summer and then a fall like no other. So we'll see.
Yeah, that would be a great setup.
Yeah, and a great song too. Somebody should write that. But let's jump into here. President Trump's World Liberty Financial partners with SUI to launch a strategic SUI reserve. So they're trying to figure something out here. I guess they're trying to get SUI into the other tokens, XRP and stuff. But for right now, they're actually just putting together a reserve. I don't understand this. So I asked ChatGPT. I said, "Does this have anything to do with the U.S. government?" And it said yes. Basically, there. So this is how it's going to work now. World Liberty Financial is actually going to be like the auditor for this strategic reserve for the U.S. They're actually doing the due diligence before it goes to someone like David Sachs, and that's kind of what I got from this as well. But what do you think about SUI being a part of that team? SUI is the same as Aptos, right? The same as Solana. It's just these really fast chains, very centralized, and huge pre-mines.
Yeah, I think SUI is a U.S. Created token, and so they
SUI and
probably
Aptos were created in the Facebook lab.
yeah.
They were created together. They were whatever that was called, Libra.
Yeah, so U.S. created token probably reached out to the administration and said, "Hey, how can we help here? What can we offer?" This is speculation, but for me, I don't think like right off the bat like Trump's team is like SUI, So there was probably some sort of reach out from their team, and they discussed, and maybe like you said, the loophole of donating a certain amount of tokens is going to be well received, right? And so that's where my mind is at. We'll see if we get more information.
Yeah, 100%. And a lot of these tokens too are very new. Like SUI has dropped in like 2022, right? It was one of those tokens that were part of Libra. Facebook actually, dude, Facebook messed up. They had Aptos and SUI. They created the Move technology, which is Rust with a mix of this new technology, and they just released it. They said, you guys can go build it on your own. Like we're just done with it. That was the middle of Gary Gensler trying to kill everything. And Facebook could have their own blockchain, which is basically SUI because it's the same technology, right? So it's like it's crazy. Facebook was really ahead of a lot of people, but then just quit. They quit too early, and that's what a lot of people do. I feel like a lot of people build, especially in our space, and they just quit too early.
Yeah, well, you kind of can't blame them, right? Because of how much pressure they were getting from the last administration. Plus, they went into this metaverse hard pivot, like to where they were like all their eggs in the basket there, and so it makes sense for them to do that at the time. But of course, it looks bad now because like this new administration is crypto friendly and all that stuff. But it's gonna be interesting to see how certain chains and projects really benefit from this new administration. I think this is smart for Sui to reach out to them if that's what happened. And I'm sure there's going to be other, especially the Made in USA chains and tokens, because they know that they already can have a benefit from the tax side of things and just more, I guess, more friendly towards them. So
it does feel like they're picking winners though. Like they didn't do this with Aptos. Aptos and Sui, they launched pretty much the same product, 2 different teams. They're very similar.
Maybe
Their
Aptos
bridging is
didn't
actually
reach out
super
to him.
easy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's what it is, but who knows? But President Trump's WLFI triples its ETH holdings, and amid the market dip, adding 10 million as part of its macro strategy fund. So World Liberty Fi has been adding and adding and adding, and they're actually sending it to Coinbase, and they're staking it on their platform. So it's not showing up in their wallet here, because they're only saying 77 million, but at one point they had 400 million in here. But they're kind of sending it off chain, using places like Coinbase to earn yield.
Smart to do that, right? But I do think it probably throws people off when they see that balance change, right? So probably put a statement out, and they probably have, right? I imagine they put a statement out. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but to go from 300 plus million to 78 million, some people are probably scratching their head, and then to come up with the assumption of staking and all that stuff. So,
well, it's going to Coinbase. You see it going to Coinbase, but they're not selling it, so people are just assuming that Coinbase has a staking thing where you don't need to lock it up or anything, and it's not liquid. You just hold it there, and it's just staked. You can earn on it. So I think that's kind of what they're doing with that. But who knows? But it's weird though, because they're buying on chain. They're selling down their USDT, buying ETH on chain, and then sending it to Coinbase. You would think they would just buy it on Coinbase, but they have USDT and they don't serve that on Coinbase. So maybe that could be it as well.
Possibly, yeah, because they got rid of USDT months ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's what they had a lot to start with here was the USDT side of things, and then try to figure out what we're going to do with their portfolio. But plans can change, and so that's probably what happened, right? And then they said, "Oh, this is actual opportunity, big opportunity for us to stake this on." Has Coinbase be the custodian of it, and so. That's unless they come out with that, I do think they should be a little bit more clear with that communication with that, maybe but it's on chain, so you can see where it goes.
They probably are with their shareholders, like for this, like there's actually people that own this company. So that you can buy the WLFI token, but I don't think that's the governance. I think people actually own a part of the company, which is weird. I don't know. It's definitely different than anything we've seen before. They have like a board of directors. And then, so the next thing here is President Trump is scheduled to sign an additional executive orders today at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So I tried finding information on these executive orders. No one knows what they're about, whether they're about, what's happening with the tariffs or something else, who knows? But a bunch, they said between 6 and 7 executive orders could be signed, exactly 24 hours before tomorrow's big ceremony, crypto. I don't know, luncheon, I guess you would call it. I don't know what they're even calling it. But yeah, so what do you think?
Probably just be ready for any type of surprises, right? Good or bad. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to just not expect anything like either way and say, okay, this could turn the market up or down, and we got to be okay with that, right? Because it could have stuff to do with new tariffs, new whatever, or it could be crypto related and bullish, and then head into tomorrow. So I think just trying to stay even keeled was my goal right now. Is try to just level headed, try to not play on the emotions of the volatility of the market. It's not easy, but I think that it's something that everybody probably could work on a little bit, and that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, 100%. Be numb right now. Just be numb to the news. Don't let it control your emotions, because we've seen that multiple times. We do think there's going to be a bull run that's coming, but right now it's time to, because just because it's going to be the most bullish news ever, the markets don't move. It's so weird. It's just so weird. Or they'll go the other way because of a sell-off. It's everything seems very highly manipulated. And I remember saying, like, last cycle, we had SBF, we had 3 Hours Capital, we had a lot of people manipulating everything, right? But this time we have real money manipulating everything, right? Like it's not, billions, it's potentially trillions of dollars that could manipulate this now. So
Yeah, and I also think it's also normalizing this transition to this new administration. I think every time there's administration change in that bull market year, there is, a bit of like, this fear that just lingers a
yeah,
little bit. And that's what we're going through. And it's a little bit even more exemplified, I think, because of the geopolitical things that are happening, right? But it,
yeah.
it does seem possibly that that's calming down a little bit. And so maybe we are going to be more normalized to it all and see better days here soon.
Yeah, 100%. Um, this next thing is pretty bullish. Belarus president calls to begin mining cryptocurrency and not just Bitcoin. They're talking about Litecoin and Doge as well. This is pretty big for a country they're saying we're not going to buy it, but maybe we'll buy miners
Yeah.
and actually start mining this.
Yeah, I mean, Belarus is definitely a country that's I didn't expect to come out right out the gate like this, right? Because they're in this kind of high tension area north of
Yeah.
Ukraine, bordering Russia, probably a little bit more on the Russian side in terms of this whole thing happening.
Mhm.
But for them to come out here and say this, make the statement, I think this is a really bullish statement because they're able to say, hey, look, this is a focus of ours, even though there's a lot of stuff going on. This is important enough. This is a priority for us to, make for our country and for the future of our country. So I love this.
Yeah, and I looked into it a little bit more. So their like electric and stuff is like government owned. So potentially they could just use, maybe the leftover that's used for flaring or whatever to actually mine this. So this is one of the countries that, it's the electric companies, I guess you would say. Here in the United States, the electric companies are, they're privately owned, but they're actually, the country actually owns them. I guess that's probably for structure and keeping everything up and all that stuff as well. I don't know if it was always like that, but it's definitely like that now. But you could definitely see countries that do own the potential, electricity or the grid for that to actually come out and do this because it's they're saying it straight up. How can we make more money from this? So
Yep, I think it's a great opportunity.
yep. All right, so this is something that I was like kind of blown away by. So Franklin Templeton says Solana's DeFi growth could challenge Ethereum's dominance. Bullshit. So just go to DeFi Llama. It'll show you exactly what you need to see. So Ethereum has $52 billion in assets in a chain that nothing has really moved yet. And I'm expecting a lot of it to really move. And then Solana is sitting at 7 billion. Yes, it's number two, to it's Bitcoin, BSC, but it is nowhere near catch up. I don't know what Franklin Templeton is
Did they say
saying here.
volume or they said growth?
No,
Okay.
it says growth. It's growth. So DeFi growth. I mean, I just don't see it. I see Ethereum's always going to be, especially layer one Ethereum. It's always going to be the big money because the security is just so high. It's one of the most decentralized chains besides Bitcoin. It is controlled by stakers. It is controlled by that aspect. So it's not like the miners, but still the same way the miners need the chain to keep going. The stakers do too. The stakers got skin in the game, right? They own the Ethereum that is own the validator. So they will do what's best for the Ethereum network, not for themselves because they need Ethereum to really go up. Some of them might, but that's why there's so many validators, right? There's tons. And so to me, I just think that Ethereum hasn't even really moved yet. And when it does, it's going to move rapidly, which is going to cause all these staked assets to fly up. I think Ethereum is going to be 500 billion potentially by the end of this year, end of next year.
I wonder if what the percent growth is between the two. That's probably what they're getting this headline from is probably Solana had a very, low before this past year and a half of their growth rate, and then all of a sudden that probably just blew up like huge. So that's these guys are smart. So in terms of like putting out a headline, they're not going to just put something out there. So they're probably seeing like how the growth rate has just been so, I guess like such a huge step versus Solana's probably, or sorry, Ethereum's has probably been just, slow lately in terms of the growth of the TVL or whatever they're talking about, specific DeFi growth, I guess. Right. So that's something that I'd love to jump into and actually see the numbers to see what that is.
Yeah.
Regardless, like, like even if Solana did have a huge, I'm sure they did because they wouldn't put this out, like a huge growth rate percentage this past year, Ethereum was down. Right. So now Ethereum has the opportunity to kind of come back up and then grow, because it can't really get worse. I mean, it could, but most probably won't get worse than it did this past year for Ethereum, a year and a half. So in that aspect, I agree that like they're probably going to, play catch up. So then that would be even harder for Solana to kind of catch up to them at that point. But
Exactly.
that Ethereum does have to do that here in the next year and a half.
Yeah, and yeah, 100%. You got to remember, Solana went from $10 to $200, right? So just staking Solana alone, I mean, that's 200% gain, right? Or even more than that, that's like 1,000% gain. So if you got it on $20 to 200 or something like that, and now it's about like 150, 160. But I that's the thing too. Solana is just so, it's so not decentralized. Like it's one of the most centralized chains out there. And I would hate for them to be the leader in DeFi. That would really bother me. I want to see Bitcoin actually take that number 2 spot. I would love to see Bitcoin and Ethereum be the 2. I was actually curious of what is considered in here. Babylon's number 1 for Bitcoin. Lombard is number 2. So these are all. I know Babylon's doing layer 1 staking. Lombard's doing, I think, layer 2 staking, right? Do you know much about Lombard? I don't know much about them.
I think they're doing the restaking. So Babylon's that layer 1, and then a lot of the other protocols kind of play middleman with between Babylon and the retail user. And I think there's actually one more level too. So there's like a restaking. So they all benefit at some level, almost kind of like a commission, if you will, right, at different levels. And so but I got to check and see, maybe they are on the same level as Babylon, but I do know Babylon is the largest on that layer 1 staking, because they utilize the same method that Fluid does for Bitcoin layer 1, and then they have this like whole network of people that do the restaking on Bitcoin layer 2s and stuff like that.
It's just weird to me that like Base is on here, right? So Base would be considered a layer 2 on to Ethereum. But it's, if you look over here, let me bring up my screen again, it's number 7. But when you look at the Bitcoin stuff, it's all layer 2s as well. So do you think there's something up with that, or like why do you think that
click on Ethereum real quick.
Okay.
So does it say, it says multiple chains there, right? So it's doing the same thing. You can see it says Lido on 5 chains. So it's kind of giving Ethereum the credit for Lido. So this is more app based. It's talking about the apps that could be on Base. It could be on.
No. This is what it's showing here is just on Ethereum. So Lido's on Polygon Matic too. But if you go look up Polygon Matic, the number's going to be different.
Yeah. So okay. So click on Lido, or I guess if you click on Lido, maybe it'll show what the value on each chain that it exists. If you scroll down. No, it doesn't show that. Interesting.
But if you want the Polygon Matic, let's kind of test this out, see if I'm right here. Chains, because I know Lido is on Matic.
I'm sure it does, because it wouldn't make sense to have the same value across it wouldn't add up. It wouldn't add up. So yeah, I'm sure you're right about that. It's going to show a different value
because
of that chain.
If that was the case, then you would just see the chains be, Matic will be high, and just because Lido's over there. So but that's the thing, is like all the Bitcoin L2s, like,
but it's not when you click on Bitcoin though, it's just showing the applications and not actually showing chains, right? So it's showing.
Yeah, but I just think it's weird that like Base is here, but then like
I think that,
not.
Yeah. But if you click on Bitcoin though, click on Bitcoin real quick.
Yeah.
So you can see it says Babylon there, 1 chain, which is okay. So
it's not true, right?
It says
this is on.
Well, unless that's the Bitcoin layer 1 that they're talking about, because they do have all the Bitcoin staked on layer 1, and then you can see Lombard under that. Look at the category of Lombard, restaked Bitcoin. So where like the Lombard, Solve, those, I don't know about XAT, but Lombard and Solve, those are definitely like should probably be on layer 2. right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
confusion part.
And I think that's because just the way the Bitcoin is, there's no virtual machine, so they're just giving credit to Bitcoin for all of that DeFi. Seems like
But that kind of goes to my point, though. If you just roll up all the L2s on Ethereum, Ethereum would be way higher than it would be, add them all together at that point, right? So it's kind of like it's even more of, because everything rolls up on Ethereum. So technically any DeFi happening on Base, Arbitrum, anywhere else is technically happening on Ethereum, right? Because it's a roll up technology, it's all being rolled up. So that's kind of my point with that is, there's probably a lot more than 51 billion because you can Base is sitting here over 2.5, right? So yeah, and then so on and so on. There's a lot more L2s, but we'll move on for this.
1.15.
The next thing here is Dubai's largest bank partners with Aqua now to offer crypto trading through its digital banking arm. Absolutely insane. This is the largest bank in Dubai. I think like JP Morgan of the US, right? Basically getting offering crypto trading through its digital banking arm. It's pretty incredible. It just shows you kind of what's next. Dubai's kind of always been ahead of the US. The US has been always following kind of what Dubai's doing now that we have a crypto friendly president. And you can definitely probably see this soon. JP Morgan and all these big banks, Chase, really jumping into this, having crypto arms as well.
That's why I'm glad that the U.S. finally decided to be crypto friendly and Bitcoin and crypto friendly, is because, if we waited forever and we decided we weren't going to just be on board with that, then other countries, major countries, would take their time because they look to us for financial markets. They look to us to, trends and stuff like that. And, it could be too late in 10, 15 years, so us doing it now, you have, these big players that have lots of capital in their countries, Dubai, Singapore, all these that are like, okay, green light, like US is on board. And then we start to see stuff like this, right? So this is exciting.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. We're definitely, I feel like we've just taken the next step as like a global thing into this new crypto digital ledgers type of system. So, which is really good. The next thing here is the New York Assembly considers a bill to criminalize crypto fraud, including rug pulls, private key fraud, and undisclosed token interests. Wow, this is massive because this is they could go after meme coins, right? They could go after guys like Portnoy, guys like I think it was the one guy from the one he's like a podcast, the Jumper. He just basically rug pulled, right? Like that was an easy like. He should be arrested for that, right? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but it's just one of those things where I think we need this to come in effect. I hate to say it because I don't want them to stick their heads here, but we can't have these celebrities come out and just try to like steal our money, right? Well, it's not my money because I'm not stupid enough to get in this stuff, but can't have steal like new people's money. The people who just came in here and they buy Solana for the first time, they see this pop up, they're like, I don't want to miss this. Could be the next Trump, and they fail miserably, right? So. What do you think about this? What do you think about New York actually jumping through and putting bills together?
I don't know how I feel about this until I dig deep into it, but I agree with you on that last statement, to where these celebrities do need to be careful and realize that, everyday people are getting hurt that don't really know better, right? And yes, they're adults and they can make their own decisions, but one day you're going to have someone that, a group of people that band together, because like attorneys are probably like licking their chops here, you know what I mean? And saying, okay, look, there's a lot of, class action lawsuits that we can, sue celebrities that have millions of dollars, right? You just had Nick Cannon actually launched a token yesterday, and it was just so like tiresome to see that, because you're just like, okay, wow, okay, I thought we were done with this. And so I just hope that the space continually gets smarter, and kind of like the hobby space, like I mentioned before, kind of police yourself until, maybe the state governments are going to have to go after them individually, or like I said, these lawyers and civil suits and stuff. I think it gets better over time, though. So
yeah, I agree. It was funny though. Speaking of Nick Cannon, yesterday thing, he posted something like, "I'm not gonna rug you. I have more money than Portnoy." And I went and I looked it up, and his net worth is 50 million, and Portnoy's like 150. And I was like, no,
you are gonna rug. You just lied. You just lied.
No, so Portnoy, like, he has a lot of his money invested. He has a lot of shares and stuff. But like, I was just like, what is Nick Cannon talking about? Like, I don't know. But moving along here. I hated to see this, even though it is Russia, but Tether freezes 27 million USDT on a Russian exchange. Garranix, forcing the sanctioned platform to halt trading and withdrawals. This is USDT doing this. They probably did this for the reasons they're trying to, show the US and stuff that they can play ball. I wish we had decentralized stablecoin. I did not want to see. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see this.
This is, in my opinion, actually more to appease the EU. Because because the US is not really super friendly to Tether.
Yeah.
They're kind of picking their winners already with like Circle USDC and maybe a PayPal stablecoin or whatever. USDT kind of has to, I think, play ball with the EU because that's still Western Europe, right? Which there's a lot of capital and money over there, and so that's my speculation here. I need to dig a little bit deeper, but that's what I'm speculating right off the bat. The only reason they would kind of appease the sanction, go along with these sanctions.
Yeah, this is the main reason why I don't like stablecoins, right? Like, personally, like I'd rather just hold Bitcoin, right? Like if I go into an asset, I'd rather just come back to Bitcoin just because of this fact. There's no difference in a CBDC and a government-controlled like Tether, right? The government puts their hands on Tether and says, "This is how you're gonna do stuff." Basically, like how the governments control like these big like tech companies, right? That's just as bad as a CBDC. When you're freezing money, you're it's just, I don't know. I didn't like this, but I don't know.
I think we should probably expect some of this with USDC too. But I will say that it's better than a CBDC because CBDC, the plan was to really, control it through carbon credits, through almost like a social type of like, are you a good person type of thing. And that is, to me, like yes, freezing it at this level still sucks, but at least like I'm not having to watch how much I drive my gas car. You know what I mean? And like if I hit over the budget, then it's can't access my US or my CBDC. So that's what was a scary thing because it was a part of the whole globalist agenda. Obviously, this is starting to sound kind of like conspiracy theory show, but that is what people had talked about before.
What's the difference though? If you drive too fast, they can freeze your USDT. There's no difference.
Yeah, well, I think
if you use your phone too much, they can, if you're on bad websites, they can freeze your.
It's different when the government is the one actually like controlling every single part of it. Their department directly versus them reaching out to like a circle and saying, "Hey guys, this." They're not going to do that for like, and they're not going to do it for carbon credits, an individual person.
They might.
You know what I mean?
Nah, there's no difference. There's no difference. There's a middleman. That's the only difference.
So
there's a guy to say no, but if he's not going to say no, doesn't matter.
That makes a big difference. That makes a big difference, especially with the current administration. There's like, this is about freedom. This is about, they're not going to go now. In 2028, things can change, right? If the administration switches over to another, type of thought process. But that my whole point is CBDC theoretically would be like a million times worse.
I disagree. We can agree to disagree here, but like I think if the government if these stablecoin companies are dependent on the government using them, because the government's going to come in and if they use them hard, man, it could be massive for them, billions and billions of dollars.
Massive for the dollar.
Well, that's good for the dollar too, but I'm just saying but they're going to pick a winner. And if you're one of these stable companies like PayPal now or Stripe, I mean, there's no difference. Like they can just be like, like this guy has $1 million here, freeze it. He's doing stuff that we don't want him to do.
The difference is KYC with CBDC. You have to with these stable tokens. You don't KYC from the top level, or from the hot wallet level, or doing DeFi stuff. You're not KYCing
for now. Now, that's the problem.
Like CBDC, if we had it now, we'd have to KYC. That's my point.
Well, you still have to when you're withdrawing from exchange.
Yeah, but they're not going to freeze at that point. You've already changed it into Bitcoin or something.
Well, I mean, can't go to USDC into Bitcoin, but unless you do it on exchange.
Or at Bitcoin.
Level, but
you can get into a different asset. Is my whole point. CBDC is way worse. Just trust me, man.
Yeah, I disagree. I think these stablecoins could end up being CBDCs in the future, but we'll see. David Bailey It says major moves happening in Congress after president's re-endorsement of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So he's actually in Washington. He's going to the event tomorrow. He actually attended some major events yesterday with congressmen. Tom Emmer being one of them. They're really putting their heads down and digging into this. Like, I've never seen this before. This is actually super bullish for strategic reserve, and I do think Trump is using the XRP Sol. Dude, Trump's just a master negotiator. He's using these to kind of get his way with the Bitcoin one, right? And then just putting these donations that he's getting from these into this this sovereign wealth fund. So I don't know. I love how things are going right now.
Things have definitely changed a little bit here. I felt
Yeah.
like David Bailey has like this, and he's the founder of or the CEO owner of Bitcoin Magazine for the people listening. And he has a direct connect to like the administration. So we know that, like, at the Bitcoin conference, like they got him up there and all this stuff. And I felt like he gets thrown off sometimes with these announcements, right? Because all the laser eye maxis came out whenever they announced the strategic reserve left Bitcoin and Ethereum out the first time. And he's like, update coming, hold on, right? So he jumped on the phone, was like, what's going on, guys? It's not good. It's a bad look for the US. What happened? Within like 45 minutes, a tweet came out saying, of course, Bitcoin and Ethereum will be included. Those are the foundations or whatever he says. I love both, Bitcoin and Ethereum. So, they're really plugged in. The administration is really plugged into some key players in our space, and this is a very big bullish, I think, catalyst or variable into this next next 6 months, 8 months of this bull market, right? So this is definitely a bullish thing that we're reading here.
Yeah, 100%. All right, the last thing here before we get into fear and greed is Robinhood lists ARB, the Arbitrum token, layer 2 on top of Ethereum. This is pretty big because they haven't listed anything in a little while. The last tokens they listed was the Solana meme coins, Dog Whiff, and I forget the other one was. I think it was Popcat. No, it was. I'm sorry, it was Pepe. It was Pepe and Dog Whiff, and now they're actually listing chain tokens. So I think Robinhood's going to be a huge player this cycle, especially because like Robinhood is the of like the GameStop guys, right? That group of people. Robinhood is their way to buy. They don't want to go to Coinbase. They like buying stocks, but this gives them the opportunity to do as well. Like that guy, the Doge guy, the big beard guy. He's Robinhood only. Anytime he posts anything, it's a Robinhood wallet, right? And the only stuff he buys is on Robinhood, Doge and Cardano and stuff like that. But they're actually adding more and more. I would love Robinhood to really kind of push the narrative of adding, let's just say like 90% of what's on Coinbase.
Why Arbitrum though? I wonder. Did that come across your mind? Like why they picked Arbitrum?
I good question. I don't know why
there
they picked
has to be
Arbitrum.
there has to be some sort of connection there, or like maybe they were in next in line in the process of getting added. But it was an interesting one because I don't think it made everybody. You didn't probably hear a lot of oohs and ahs from this, but I guess it's more of okay, they're back in the game of adding more, so that's a good thing. At the end of the day, them adding to an easy onboarding platform for the masses is always a good thing.
Yeah, 100%. And you gotta remember too, like these guys, they're not a meme coin, right? They're actually a company who self-issued a token to themselves and airdropped their community of people, of users, right? Like they hold, about 30-40% of the supply, unlocks that are coming. So this is adding something like this is a lot bigger deal than adding Dog Whiff, right? Like a meme coin that has no utility. So
agreed.
All right. Let's kind of get into today's fear and greed. So last week was a 10. Yesterday was a 20. We were in extreme fear yesterday. Today we're only in fear. We're a little higher than yesterday. Yesterday's 20.
25.
Oh shit! My bad. Yeah, 25. Great guess.
Yes, it was amazing guess
clicked
by
the
me.
button there. So great guess by you, my friend. I George Bush the button. No, I'm just kidding. So 25. So it's starting to get back. I feel like we should be. I feel like today's going to be in the yellow, right? You feel that way, especially with tomorrow. I feel like we're in 40s or 50s.
That's a pretty big jump, but maybe like high 38s. Yeah, close to 40.
Yeah, especially tomorrow. I mean, you
well,
got to be.
Well, so it's going to be tonight at 8 p.m. So unless the price runs up about $4,000 or something
Yeah.
like that, then maybe like in that mid 40s. If it continues like this, maybe up 1,000 or two, then I would say like high
Yeah.
38s, which is still a big jump. I mean, you're going up 13 points, right? You got to remember you have to level up, and then after this weekend, Monday, we could be sitting at like an astronomical number if everything's bullish from
Yeah.
tomorrow, announcements over the weekend, and we'll see. We'll see how it plays out
Yeah.
on Monday. It's going to be an interesting one on Monday.
And these, the EOs, the executive orders at 2 p.m. I mean, you could see that right before the market closes too. I mean, you could see people really speculating for tomorrow, but we'll see. But it's time to get into that Bitcoin price action brought to you guys by Artura. Artura.finance is the website. You guys can go there right now, participate in just getting some Bitcoin, getting some USDT. It's all paper on testnet, on Botonics, and you guys can start participating today. One trade gets you in the raffle. All you got to do is go there, claim your Bitcoin, claim your $10,000 in USDT, and you can just make one trade. Screw it, put the whole 10,000, long it, right? No, I'm just kidding. But it's up to you. It's all paper. It's not your money. You can start up a new wallet if you lose, like I did, and keep playing. So it's another way to farm that if you guys are interested. Start using Artura Finance today, because I think once their paper trading competition goes live, you definitely want to be a part of it and definitely have your wallet connected, because it's going to be intense. The P&L probably some people are going to get really lucky, and some people are probably going to be very negative. Because when it is paper trading, it's just fun. You really can't lose, especially when they're going to be trying to enrich their community. Be a part of their community. Join their Discord. Join their Twitter. Join their spaces and everything that these guys are doing. 100%. Check out Atura.finance.
Yep. And before we get into the Bitcoin price action here, guys, if you could help us out on the YouTube side, hit that like for us, and also make sure you're subscribed to the channel, turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. On the X side, hit that like for us, and please share the space so we can educate and onboard as many people as possible. And on the abstract side, guys, if you could share the stream, we would greatly appreciate it. But let's get into some Bitcoin price action. I'm actually going to use the app.artura.finance platform today to kind of do the price action. So let's go ahead and share the screen here. And I'm starting with the hour chart, and I'm going to blow this up, which is a really cool feature. You can actually blow it up there. You can see, yeah. So it's been pretty bullish, right? Since let's see, about 2 days ago, 1.5 days ago. So this is talking about maybe like on Tuesday evening, we started this upward trajectory here on the hour chart, right? This looks really good, but it looks like this is a pretty much like a full leg up. So we might, I don't know, we might see some chop here with another leg up, especially if things are bullish heading in to tomorrow, because like a lot of people are just really, really bullish, and they are aiming for that March 25th date. But you do have to build up to that. You got to remember that, right? And with the catalyst of tomorrow, and if tomorrow's a really good thing, then maybe over the weekend, Saturday would probably be chopped. Sunday night, always a big move, regardless, is typically how it goes. Let's take a look here. You can see we had this come down from 92, which was this morning at 6 a.m. We came down from 92 all the way to about 89,250, right? But you can see right now on the MACD that the sell pressure is starting to weaken. We do need to see this blue line kind of start to curve up before we decide, okay, look, it's about time to come up a little bit more, get out of this downward trend. So I would say be patient here, because we came over at 8 a.m. to the oversold territory on the stochastic RSI, but we've been over here since then. So that's central time. So we're talking about almost 3 hours happening right now. So you definitely need to get some conviction before you decide to maybe get into a long position here. You want to see maybe crossing over that 20-point mark here on the stochastic RSI, as well as this blue line is really the telling line. It's more powerful than the blue line on the stochastics, in my opinion, because this blue leading indicator line on the MACD really, when it starts to point up, you get a good confident feeling that we have turned the trajectory around. So I would say probably hang out here a bit longer, chop between 8 and 89.5, maybe 590,000, 591,000 until it makes a really confident move up, even crossing over that 20-point mark on the stochastics. So that's what I'm seeing on the hour chart. Let's get into the 4-hour here. Gonna zoom this in a bit, and 4-hour looks not so great, but not horrible, because this is kind of like the natural evolution of getting up here and then hitting this peak on the stochastics, right? Now we're trying to head down to the 80-point margin and get below that overbought territory. But if the short-term 4 to 8-hour time frame pulls back, we could definitely hang out here a bit longer. Typically you will kind of hang out a bit, like something like this. So, sometimes you'll go up and down like what we see here, but heading into a bullish event tomorrow, maybe we hang out here a bit longer. So, depending on how the next 4 to 8 hours goes, is going to give us our kind of weekend trajectory there. So let's keep your eye on that hour chart, the shorter time frame, and how today plays out, because it could lead into a bullish weekend. All right, I'm going to get into the liquidation levels that I've been showing pretty much every day. You can see here, again, I am using this chart. It's from Marty Party. If you don't know him, you can find him on X. He's great at data, just showing on-chain stuff, but he's showing these liquidation levels here. So the price move up, then the liquidations move up, right? So you can see that the long liquidation pocket really starts down here at the 83,000 on the low side, but it goes all the way up here to 85, 86,000. So, it's something that's within reach. If there's a drastic move, you could go down, pull, but then you would have to continue down. So I don't know if I'd see, like, that doesn't sound, what the energy is, but hey, the energy's been able to just change on a whim the last month and a half, 2 months. So on the upside, the shorts, they really get hammered, I would say, probably around here, 93,000. And then it goes all the way to this cluster here, about 95. So that's definitely, if the bullish energy is happening, it's probably easier to clear those out. And I think if we clear this up, though, we probably won't see this for a very long time, if at all, for the rest, for a long time. So I don't know. We're about to find out if tomorrow is a sell the news event, or if it's a nothing burger. But people are bullish, I'll tell you that. You got David Bailey, you got Jason Williams, you got a lot of people. I'm waiting for Benjamin Cohen to come out and say something bullish, because he doesn't make comments sparingly. So if he says a bullish, he's bullish about Bitcoin here in the next 2 weeks, I would be very, very bullish at that point. The other ones, I feel like they kind of play off of the emotions a little bit. So that's what I'm seeing, guys. Hopefully that helps. And let me know if you want the link to this liquidation level chart, and I'll drop it in the chat.
Hey, man, great job. It's awesome.
Thanks.
All right, let's kind of get into the roll call here, just to let you guys know the winner of the roll call. So we do every single day. We do we kind of go over, see who's first is first. The first comment of the show, the first one that YouTube allows to be the first comment, because YouTube sometimes wants to be a reaper and knock some comments off. I have no idea why, but there's a $1,400 prize at this point. The frog, we got lucky. We got this thing for like $800 that we bought at the bottom for the people here. The winner will win this exact frog. It's number 406826. We got a couple comments on it. Shout out to you guys for commenting on it. But yeah, and this is the wallet address too. If you guys just remember, it's 406826. If you guys want to send stuff to it, we'll give it away to, yesterday, I think it was I Walk Alone or someone who was saying, hey, can we donate to the first is first thing to create more winners? Yeah, and feel free to. This is the wallet here. Just send it to that wallet. So it's, yeah, but yeah, I'm not asking for anyone to do that, though. That's if you're interested. But moving along here, let's actually see who was first is first. We got our guy, Lackey Lukey, with the Billy Cat. Shout out to you, my friend, LFG. You got it. Congratulations to you. Let's see how many you got here. It's looking like this is your second one. Congratulations. Your last win was 121. So January 21st. And let me make sure that this is only your second one. Yep, it does look like it's only your second one. So shout out to you, man. Everyone still has an opportunity at that frog. I mean, you look at Danny Boy had like 3 in a row, right? So it's definitely possible. Just stay on it, guys. We have another 280 winners left. So you got plenty of time for sure. So Yes, congratulations to Lackey Lukey, winner of the day. And then number 2 spot, we got ASAP Benji. Shout out to you, my friends. Come on, Lackey Lukey, congrats. Danny Boy said, wow. So Lackey Lukey came in at 130. ASAP Benji was at 226. And then Danny Boy was at 311. Webdro says, let's go. Lucky Lukey, LG, Money Supply, LG, Bull Run. Shout out to you, my friend. Shout out to Webdro. Nighthawk says, GM. I thought Danny Boy was on vacation. No first is first for him until he gets back. Yeah, man. PJNZ says, money. And then we have Webdro, money. And then Danny Boy D-Block says, Nighthawk, I am still till Sunday. Still out here grinding one show. Shout out to Danny. Nabob is here. Shout out to Nabob. ASAP Benji says, Mr. Yagably, please say it like I'm 5 years old. We've seen this before. When the Bitcoin frogs make the first move, we usually follow what follows. Let me know, Ribbit.
If you know, you know.
Oh, if you know, Ribbit. Okay. I thought it was an L.
Yeah. But yeah, I explained it below, but I still think there's probably another move by the frogs, if I'm right here, because this is from December. I think it was like late November of 2023. Frogs made an aggressive move, and I think it went into like the early days of December of 2023, and it was really aggressive. It hit all-time high, went to like 0.5, which was about $17,000 at the time. Yeah. And then within a couple days to a week, like everything started to it was a cascade effect. So, you eventually saw, I think Node Monks was going to mint later. I think maybe early January. So that didn't really benefit until later, but you saw stuff start to benefit from that. And so if they make another move here and it gets aggressive, then I would say that's a really bullish indicator.
Yeah, man. And we're going to get into that more later. Patty Poo says, sup. Glasshopper says, good morning. Power is here. And Nagi, Claudia, shout out to you, my friend. Super fan, like every single day is our guy. Austin Gray, every single day. Mark says, hi, OnChain Revolution. What's up, Mark? Launch Punks is in the house. Eats a Toshi is here. GM Labs. Cheaty with his amazing blue suit.
What up?
Love it. What's up, guys? And then we have Mark's. Any projects to go in the reserve will probably have to donate to 100%. So that's the only loophole that I've found, is that if Trump wanted to make a strategic reserve, he could just have companies send it in. But I just don't understand what's the point then if you just did a sovereign wealth fund, because basically you just put that in a sovereign wealth fund and not a reserve. But I just think that what he's doing is he's using it as a negotiation tactic to force the Congress to pass a Bitcoin bill, right? So it's just kind of another way of Trump being Trump, the master of negotiation. Mice Elf says, Kraptos and Pui are both VC trash coins. Yeah,
they are VC coins. They are
VC coins, but the chains are amazing. Like, I've used Aptos. It's freaking phenomenal. It's basically, it's like a steroided version of Solana, right? The technology is just better. But it's a Solana. You can say the same thing about Solana, though, right? Solana is the same.
There's gonna be a point where it's like the differences are minuscule, right? It's kind of like,
no, the differences are pretty big.
The thing I would be looking for is, does it not pause?
It hasn't paused yet. I mean, but
okay, so there you go. That's the difference.
But I'm just saying though. But so they're doing stuff different. You got to remember, Aptos and Zui were made by Facebook, right? Like, Facebook spent millions and millions of dollars to develop this. I'm not saying that's the reason why, but it's just crazy that Sui, the technology is it's pretty great. I mean, it's definitely up there with Sonic in the speed wise too. Steamy J is here, says, GM, my guys. Chief Axel is here. Itatoshi is here. And Malam Yuri says, here too for sure. Shout out to every single one of you guys who make roll call every single day. Much appreciated. All right. Let's get into the topic of today's show. We kind of went over it yesterday. It was funny, though. We probably covered this before anyone else, because I follow Colin. No one really talks about it. But today, I was listening to Crypto Banter earlier today, and he was covering it, because everyone just waits for Cointelegraph to pop something. But my man Colin popped in here. He's like, I made this chart. How come you didn't give me any credit? that's kind of bullshit, right? Cointelegraph maybe stole his chart, and then even the date,
Yeah.
right? Even like the March 25th thing, like it's pretty crazy. And then Colin's like, "Yo, what the hell?" Like, I don't know. I made
I
this
think that's
chart. He's in here.
100%. Like Cointelegraph knows better than that. Like you got to give, source your, your infographics or if it wasn't you that created it and
Yeah.
damn well someone else that has some, a following, even if they don't, you got to give them credit, So
Yeah.
I see where it's coming
Well,
from.
we spent time yesterday where we're thinking of a show title for today, kind of looking at this. So I went back and watched Colin's video. I sent it to you as well if you're interested in checking it out. But he basically said that this line is skewed. So he purposely, like, this is happening now. This isn't happening. This isn't like, because people were asking him like, can I get the data that you're seeing? Like, how do you know this is going to happen? He's like, this is happening right now. So he actually just moved this into where he thinks the Bitcoin price is going to go. But yeah, this upward momentum is happening as we speak. So he explains it better in the video.
Yeah, because that's weird because like it's showing you see the date.
So the dates for these are
is
off.
wrong.
He's basically
Oh,
saying,
okay. So
yeah,
like he needs to shift
these
it
are
back.
right, but not this. Yeah, he ships this back, but he's saying this is it's always a delay, right? He's basically saying if there wasn't a delay, this is what we'd be saying. So that's why he's expecting us to kind of float up from here, because he's saying this is actually happening now. But Bitcoin, as you can see, it's always kind of delayed. If you kind of push this whole thing back, the money supply goes before the price.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So. All right. I wish he would have did it a different way, but it is what it is. It's just kind of the way he did it. But,
So, well, I mean, it's easy because now we're stair-stepping up into what he thinks is going to be aggressive here in the next, 3 weeks, leading into hyper-aggressive, I guess, blast off, which starts March 25th. So it's like building up to that blast off is what it sounded like.
Yeah, Bitcoin eyes March 25th blast off date as global money supply nears all-time highs, and the U.S. dollar hits a 4-month low. So that's the thing too. The DXY is dropping, and I love it, dude. I should have known when it was at 111, 109. I should have known we weren't going to have any real pump. It was just like I remember looking when Bitcoin hit like 100K and just being like the DXY is at like 110. Like this is abnormal. This is not okay. And we sat here for now over 3 months since I said that back in January. So crazy. But yeah, the DXY has to drop. The dollar has to drop in order for Bitcoin to go up. And I truly think that. But it's happening. You're seeing like 106, 105 right now. So
yeah, I mean there are very rare cases to where they align together, but they're pretty rare, I would say.
Yeah. Miles Ducher actually says here, he says, the U.S. dollar is following a similar path as Trump's first term in 2026. The U.S. dollar also began to trend down after Trump's first few weeks in office. And he actually has a chart here.
2016.
To show that. 2016. What did I say?
2026.
Oh, well, in 2016, the U.S. dollar also began to trend down after Trump's first week in office. So you can kind of see here, very similar to what we have now. And if this does continue, we could see $96, which would be absolutely phenomenal. So,
yeah, that would be great. That would be great because then, the inverse would be Bitcoin go up, number go up. So.
Yeah, man. So I definitely think we need the Dixie to keep dropping significantly. And it does look so. It looks like days in office. So this is day one. What are we close to day 100 already? Almost no, because probably a day like 70 or something like that. This is showing 85 or something around there. So, but yeah, we'll see. But day 221, which will kind of put us in in the fall, almost winter. We could see a bottom, which would mean a peak potentially for Bitcoin. So,
yep, the blow off the top Q4 that I've been calling for I said there probably will be a rise up in the spring, but I do think the hyper aggressive one's going to be Q4 of this year.
Yeah, so 221 days is kind of what I'm seeing here. So, what do you think? Do you think this could be right again? Maybe we peak in 221 days. That'd be a nice bull run.
It seems like that seems the trajectory that like we're expecting, right? So it seems right to me.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Crypto czar David Sachs says U.S. government sold 195,000 Bitcoin for 366 million over the past decade. Today, that Bitcoin would be worth 17 billion. So they sold it. Absolutely insane. They sold generational wealth. I mean, that $17 billion is insane, right? So stop selling the Bitcoin. I mean, that's kind of his advice there. So what do you think about this?
Well, even going back to the Trump first administration, they had this mindset, I'm sure. And, he wasn't super friendly the first 4 years, but he also was around people that he trusted to give him the correct advice and all that stuff. So this
Yeah.
time around is totally different. I agree, that could have been a huge, way to have more capital for the government, right? So it was dumb to do, in my opinion. And now that they have this different mindset, I think that they have a chance to maybe make up for a little bit of lost time. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get all that, back. But if you create the sovereign wealth fund and stuff like that, there's strategies that they can, liquidate some of that into Bitcoin and stuff like that. I'm sure they're putting together some really solid plans.
Yeah, man, 100%. Cryptos are, man, $366 million they made, and they would have made 17 billion. Pretty wild, pretty wild, pretty wild. But guys, it is Thursday. Every Thursday, we have the guys from Arch on. Arch is building something pretty phenomenal, in my opinion. They are building, think of Solana, think of Rust-based model on Bitcoin, right? It's actually going to finalize on Bitcoin. So you're going to be able to do these transactions super fast, just like you're kind of seeing with Odin. It's probably going to be just as fast as Odin, but Odin, you have to deposit. With using Arch, you're not going to deposit. You're going to be using layer 1 Bitcoin. Just go to your, whatever wallet that you're going to be using. You're going to be able to use that wallet, and your transactions, you won't see them finalized on the Bitcoin side, but on the DEXs and on the dApps that you're using, you would be able to keep going and keep going, keep moving that Bitcoin around, buying this, buying that, and all finalizing on Bitcoin. That is why we're excited for this and excited to talk to Nick today.
Yep, it's gonna be exciting. The fact that everybody that builds on Bitcoin at some point, you run into the block situation, the 10-minute blocks.
Yeah.
But what they are doing here is that you don't necessarily have to wait if you're doing things within their system, right? So it's going to reflect on the dApp that you're using, your balance, and what you're doing, and all that great stuff. But let's bring Nick up and let him probably explain that a lot better than we can. Let's welcome him back from ETH Denver. Nick, how are you doing, sir?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Riding the high of ETH Denver, of Mountain DAO, which was a conference we went to before that for Solana builders, and also riding the lows of conference life, which means I am sick as a dog. So,
oh no,
you hear me coughing or sneezing or sniffling, that's what that is. But you guys did a pretty good job of describing it. The only thing I would add is that we're actually going to, or what we're doing is making it so that it's app dependent, how often it posts back to Bitcoin. So you're talking about how you can see the transactions within the app. Well, of an app like Saturn, it's also going to show you the transactions, and then it's also going to post to Bitcoin as much as possible, as fast as possible, which is those 10-minute block times. But you can go ahead and do all the activities you want to do beforehand. So some things within the Arch network, you could maybe go for multiple blocks without posting back to Bitcoin, but a DEX like Saturn allows you to post it to every block. So it's kind of interesting, kind of fun.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm actually curious about that. Why would some dApps be different than others? Obviously, why is Saturn choosing to go the route of every block?
Yeah, I mean, there are trade-offs with everything, right? So potentially, if you post back to Bitcoin with every block, you need to maintain Bitcoin state for all things. That can create some challenges if if you're worried about speed on the base layer, or some of the clunkiness that happens with Bitcoin. I'd also say that there are other use cases where being able to pull slowly within, or just completely within the Arch network, and then post back to Bitcoin more or less frequently actually allows you to do some more complex DeFi stuff, like pulling from different apps, liquidity, things like that. For the most part, though, it's really a developer's choice. We have a lot of flexibility in Arch, which allows you to kind of choose, you know, you can create the most Bitcoin native experience as possible. And your users, your traders, you know, whoever's using your app, they may prefer that, right? So it just becomes a business decision. It becomes the type of user you're trying to attract, what kind of niche you're trying to fill in the ecosystem. Or you can do things all within the Arch ecosystem, Arch network, and do like faster actions. You know, you could see like the creation of like an APL token, like an Arch token standard, and like tokens that live just in that environment and then can be transferred back to Bitcoin. Stuff like that. I think like meme coin launch pads are an environment that typically it does better to have that kind of fast-paced action. So either way, the user experience is fast, actually. I mean, you know, in Saturn, it's instant or near instant. You know, it's kind of what you expect from like a Solana type environment. The difference is you know, how much it gets posted back to Bitcoin and what kind of limitations that puts on the app itself and their back end.
What do you think would be cheaper? Rolling it up maybe once a day, rolling up each block. Let's just say they're both at 1 sat per VV byte. Do you think rolling it up once a day or rolling up every block would actually be cheaper for the devs?
Yeah, I mean, definitely cheaper to roll back to Bitcoin. And we don't really use the word rollback. It's not really a rollback mechanism, but not rollback, but it's more
roll up.
Yeah, it's not really a roll app kind of style, but it's similar. So it's similar enough. Like we don't have to get into all the technical details, but yeah, like basically the whole post back to Bitcoin thing. It's definitely cheaper to do as much as you can within an environment like Arch, and then you know, post back less often. So you know, some models. We were talking to the VoltFi guys, and you know, on testnet they were talking about just batching the transactions at the end of the day. So basically, you know, commit or you request to buy some Bitcoin volatility token, and they honor that request at the price, but they kind of batch it all at once at the end of the day. That would be something I would save you transaction fees. You know, Bitcoin transaction fees are just always going to be more expensive, right? So that's kind of the pros and cons there from a fee perspective.
You being the CMO and me having that digital marketing background, I can see the marketing you know, task, if you will, of this, right? Because you basically are going to have apps that are going to be lightning fast, and then some that are going to be slower because they're more dependent on like being always like Bitcoin state, right? So what approach are you taking with this? Are you saying, okay, you know, it's all Arch, or is it like, okay, this group of builders is kind of like the Bitcoin state apps, and this is more like full Arch? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, how are you looking at it from a CMO?
It's a very good question. First of all, I think, and I may be wrong, but like based on all the apps we've used so far, no matter how often they post back to Bitcoin, they're still all fast for a user experience. So what do I mean by that, right? It means that if I'm a user, I can take an action, like if I'm trading, I can swap for something, and then I can immediately swap with that same thing for something else, right? It's the ability to immediately do other things with your money, right? Or with whatever assets you just purchased, right? That's speed, okay? So it's not going to be slower from a user experience standpoint. What it's slower from is a posting back to Bitcoin state, right? So like what that creates is like the question of like, okay, can I see it in a mempool, right? And for like something like Saturn, which has chosen to update to every single block, it does, you know, post back to every 10 minutes. You know, you can kind of check it just like every block that's processed, right? You know, something like FunkyBit, where they're doing a lot of transactions, and it's really once you do more like an Odin.fun kind of experience where you pull out your thing at the end, like that's going to be slower to post to Bitcoin, but it's going to still be fast, right? It's just going to be faster, you know, just as fast as Saturn, ostensibly. The only difference there that may come up in terms of speed or user experience is that something like Saturn, because it's posting every single block to Bitcoin, every single activity to Bitcoin, will be affected more by rollbacks. So like if there's a rollback of the network to maintain Bitcoin state, then like Saturn gets affected by that much more often than like a FunkyBit does. Right?
You mean like a reorg?
Yeah, reorg, exactly.
Gotcha.
Because if you think about like FunkyBit can do a bunch of the transactions, and then the only action that's being reported back to Bitcoin is essentially when you pull out, right? And a pull out is like very hard. It very rarely requires a reorg, right? Because there's no like dependent transactions happening, right? So,
well, let me ask you this one question then. So I feel like I got pretty much how it's going to work, which is great, because I thought the user experience was going to be kind of, you know, pretty dramatically different, but it doesn't seem to be the case. What about if I were to want to, swap into Bitcoin and then just send it to like a centralized exchange wallet or something like that? Like, is there going to be situations to where I have to wait for the Bitcoin block for that in terms of,
Yeah, I
being
would
able to
say,
send?
yeah, I would say anything that is going to be with native Bitcoin, right? Which, we allow you to not have to transfer your Bitcoin into other assets in order to use it. But anything that relies on native Bitcoin, obviously, it has to, be shown on the Bitcoin mainnet, right? So now, could you create an APL? By APL, I mean like Arch token standard type of thing. Like, could you create like a Arch
Wrap
derivative
version.
Bitcoin that then could be sent? Like, yes. Is that going to be the primary use case of like Arch? Probably not. It may be seen as like an easier way to bridge assets into the Bitcoin eco. Like, potentially, if you trust our decentralized validator set, still a decentralization trust assumption. You would need like a bridge from another network, because other networks would require a bridge. So like something from like Base would require some bridge or some mechanism for getting it to Arch. Then Arch would do the same process that it does for everything else to actually convert that Arch BTC into native BTC.
Yeah.
So you can do that version too. But
Yeah.
I mean, that's not going to be the primary use case of Arch, at least not to my knowledge. Of course, it is an open, permissionless network, so people can do what they want. But I don't think that's going to be the most exciting thing about this.
Yeah, I think I asked that question wrong. So
Sure.
I guess, okay, let's say I'm in like $1 billion cap, right?
Mhm.
And then I swap that to Bitcoin.
Hmm.
Would that Bitcoin go automatically into my wallet right then, or would I have to? It'd be dependent. It'd be dependent for the 10-minute block, and then I send it to a centralized exchange. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I do now. With the way that things are done now, you would still, like you could swap it instantly, like in Saturn or something, right? And so there's no price slippage. There's no like you're seeing it happen, right? But then if you were trying to then like it still has to post back to Bitcoin, right?
Gotcha.
So happening within the Arch network, you can continue to do other actions, dependent actions, but it's still going to have to clear that Bitcoin block. And then either way, you would still, even if for some reason we were able to instantly have that reflect in your Bitcoin wallet, we would also need to still send the 10-minute time to send it away from Bitcoin, right?
Yeah. So I get it now. So I swap from Billy to Bitcoin, but if I want to now use that Bitcoin within Saturn and Arch network to buy dog, I can do that right then. I don't have to wait for the block. Yeah. But if I want to send my Bitcoin out of the Bitcoin network completely, I would have to wait till that post.
It has to be sent through Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, so and that's why they're hitting every block. That's why they're hitting every block the entire time, right? So it makes sense. Okay.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, should be
kind of like.
Now, I didn't really answer your marketing question because I was trying to delineate like the differences on the speed. But I would just say from a marketing perspective, it's really just allowing users to do what they want and devs to be able to do what they want, and to actually create the tools and the infrastructure necessary to have even the option of a more native experience, right? Because right now that's just not an option. You have meta protocols that are slow and can't actually work with each other. So they can't work with other apps, which means they're not going to be able to actually distribute liquidity in a smart contract way, like very limited functions for meta protocols. And then you've got the L2s, and they're all focused on like who's going to have I feel like it's like either the EVM compatible ones are like, we're going to make the easiest environment for people to just take Ethereum programs and deploy them, which is fine. But the other ones, and then it's like maybe they talk about their bridge into it, but like it's not that interesting to them. And then the second thing is like some are very security focused and talking about how good their bridge is going to be, and that's where you see like some of these ZK version ones like Strata, or you see some of these other ones. But the problem with that one is, again, like you can talk about how good your bridge is and everything, but it's much better just to eliminate the need for a bridge in the first place. And even if you do like nail the bridge aspect, it doesn't change the fact that you do still have to bridge, which means you're still fracturing liquidity. And that's like the really tricky part here, is that if you're having to mint or create new assets to represent mainnet, mainnet native BTC, and runes and ordinals and things like that, then you are essentially starting from zero. You are creating a Bitcoin related chain, but are you really going to actually be able to draw liquidity end users. I think that the L2 thesis has borne out that that's not the case. You don't see that with stocks or with others. So
yeah, so Arch isn't going to give you a receipt for your Bitcoin, right? Or that's not like the plan.
If you want to do like fully like Arch native, like purely state only things that are like somewhat pulled away from Bitcoin, then you'll be able to do that through Arch. And so technically, we could do that, right? But the initial and most important use case is being able to do all this with native BTC.
100%. Yeah.
And so when you talk about marketing, we just communicate that people will finally have that option, and and why it's necessary to unlock Bitcoin DeFi, that you have these types of options. And then we let the developers and the users decide what kind of environment they want to create. But we're like the only option that allows you to do both, to do native and to do more state-only stuff through Arch. And even the native stuff we do is much more programmable and much more interesting than like what a meta protocol could do. And so because of that, we think it's the only one that's positioned well to actually create a functioning Bitcoin app ecosystem. I mean, all these other ones, it's like you might have like one-off apps like Ordinal and things like that, but like none of that can create an ecosystem around it, right? And so what Bitcoin really deserves, and what's going to be really exciting, is when we do have essentially like the app store, app machine, just an app layer or app network of
like a home base.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and it exists. And it's like the thing, the undercurrent of it all. But like having like a real place to go where like all these apps can live and thrive, that's what Arch creates on Bitcoin.
Okay, man, love it. So last week you guys were in East Denver. We were just talking to our good friend Jake yesterday, and he was out in Denver, and he said, AI and Bitcoin DeFi seem to be really two of the big narratives that a lot of people were talking about. Did you get that same vibe? Did you that Bitcoin DeFi was really something people were talking about?
I think so. I think it was one of the best presences of Bitcoin DeFi, Bitcoin at like an Ethereum-based conference, of course. Last year there was a little bit of that, but this year it really showed out. I would say even more than the enthusiasm I saw for Bitcoin DeFi, which I did see, was the just the like stagnancy of the ETH ecosystem. And I don't needlessly take shots. ETH Denver is one of my favorite events, by the way. I've been the last 3 years. It was the first crypto event I ever went to 3 years ago. Like, it is very near and dear to my heart, and the energy was just lagging, from the main stage and dance, main event hall to everything else. Like, it just felt like the Ethereum ecosystem or the main event was pretty lagging, but it did get benefit. We did benefit from seeing a lot of Bitcoin ecosystem projects really doing great events, and I think it was an interesting space for that. I also didn't see as much of an Ordinal presence as I did in the past. You saw Pizza Pets has done some great events across the country, across the world. In the recent years, I didn't see like a huge pizza presence. And I may have just missed them, but I didn't see them. I didn't see like a lot of the Ordinal collections there that I normally see.
Yeah, Ordinals are down bad. That's kind of
Yeah.
Except for the frogs. The frogs
have a
and
good
we know what happens when the frogs make an aggressive move. So maybe there's some anticipation here in the next couple of months. Hopefully, we'll see.
Yeah.
But like speaking about ETH Denver, how was your experience there? What did Arch do? You guys have your whole team there, or how was it?
Yeah, I mean, we had 5 people there, so pretty much, both our co-founders, not all our engineers because they're pretty globally distributed, but we had most of our like business team there. And to be honest, like a lot of it were like private dinners, like close get-togethers. Like, we didn't host an event. We're not at the point where we see a big ROI on those types of things. And oftentimes it's mostly clout chasing and kind of just like, for ego. And, we're pretty practical where we're saying, hey, like, what's going to actually drive value? This is what's going to drive value. We did meet with some of our eco projects and a lot of investor talk and kind of liquidity providers, market makers, things like that. People who are going to help support the eventual liquidity on Arch that we launch with. So I think we've said this before, but liquidity is going to be the game when it comes to the Bitcoin ecosystem. Like, even some of these L2s, like, I think technically speaking are just the wrong direction, but like they could win if they were actually able to pull liquidity, which they can't. So, for us in a more native experience, it really is a liquidity battle. And if we can kind of ensure liquidity and ensure like really value yield opportunities on Bitcoin and things like that, that's the ball game. So that's what we're doing is we met with a lot of developers in Bitcoin at ETH Denver at the Bitcoin events. And we also met with a lot of like liquidity providers as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it seemed like that was a little bit of the theme. Another one of our partners was there. They kind of treated it like a team building event, right? Like they got a house and they were like, let's grind this out. Let's work. Let's have camaraderie and stuff like that. So that's awesome that you guys had that. And we don't want to keep you too much longer because we know you're sick and stuff. But I guess my last thing for you, maybe you can talk to the community is what updates are there with Arch? What are some things that can look forward to here, possibly in the near future or the mid future?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a big announcement in mid-March here, so that'll be exciting and kind of some of the fruits of the efforts that we've been putting behind the scenes and just some good clear signal for people. So definitely stay tuned for that. I don't know if it'll be by next week's Arch Thursday, but it'll be soon after, I would say. So that's kind of one thing to look forward to. And I would just say, in terms of updates, we're really dialed in on the developers and projects that are building really well on us and supporting them. I think that we're going to keep improving some of the apps that we have. I think FunkyBit's going to be making some pretty big news probably next week. So I encourage people to watch out for FunkyBit and don't sleep on that. And I would say those are the main things. I'd say that we are really committed to creating the pillars of what will actually be a Bitcoin DeFi ecosystem. One of the things, just going back to Denver, is like I was on a panel, or actually Matt was on a panel, our CEO, and I remember like one of the L2 projects, it was one of the EVM compatible chains, and they were like talking about all the same things that we really value, Bitcoin compatibility and like, truly like aligned with Bitcoin's vision, all this stuff. It sounded great. But then I was like, wait a second, how is this like supported technically like at all? Right. And I went up to the speaker afterwards, like, I mean, you did really well, but like, so how are you guys actually aligned with Bitcoin? And she couldn't really give me a good answer, to be honest. But, it was an interesting moment because it just reminded me how like the space, the Bitcoin L2 space in particular, like has a lot of information out there and like, nods to Bitcoin compatibility or Bitcoin alignment. And really like some L2s, like I think Stacks has shown itself to be a good actor in the space who's trying to actually be aligned with Bitcoin. I just think that their technology at this point is outdated and that there are better options like what we're doing to be more aligned with Bitcoin. But like some of these L2s, man, it's just like, they'll just like say they're Bitcoin L2s and it's like, in what way, shape or form, right? So I think what's exciting is that, we are pioneering this very unique way to enable a Bitcoin native experience. And you're not going to have to use some other weird asset. Like you can use native Bitcoin, use runes, use ordinals, other UTXO based assets. And like, that's going to be a huge unlock. So, we're still a little bit of ways from that happening, probably the next few months. But, that's just part of building and, making sure that this is, we want to make sure that this is a top quality product that, has the best security in place and everything else needed to be done. So that's the dream. That's the hope. Everything that we just said there.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, and to your point with FunkyBit, we actually have a recording with them coming up. We're going to be showcasing their platform, so that should be really cool. Probably in the next, I think he timed it with his with his update that's happening. So that's pretty cool. I'm just curious. I guess my last question would be like, how's testnet going? Are you guys happy with how it's going? Have you done any changes to it? Any maintenance to it? Has there been any down points?
No major maintenance or down points. Earlier in the year, we were working on like the rollback mechanism stuff, but that's mostly been resolved. So we figured that out, which is great. Big breakthrough there. But no, we've had a ton of traction. Every project that has participated in that has gotten tens of thousands of users. We have over 300,000 wallets connected to the program. We have just gotten a ton of interest. And as far as updates to it, we may decide to change the format or maybe I think we've accomplished a lot of what we wanted to with it. So like we'll see how that adjusts things. I would also say like, you know, for people who are looking to participate in the point side of things, like definitely like participating in mainnet is going to be a huge value to you. So definitely be ready to do that once we have those mainnet apps live. Other than that, no, testnet's going well.
Awesome.
And yeah, I mean, even apps that we haven't launched yet, but we've like done like a mission to like follow socials and stuff have like gotten huge traction. So I definitely think there's a lot of interest.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, man. Thank you for being part of the show. It's your first on-chain revolution episode.
Yeah.
We actually did a little bit of a pivot. Nothing really changed though, except the one word. We're still, you know, covering the Bitcoin ecosystem fully, just trying to kind of push the narrative of, hey, you got to come on chain, kind of grabbing people from Coinbase and Binance, people who don't really go off chain, and getting their first wallet to be next first wallet or a Unisat wallet that way. So we feel like the onboarding process, we need to bring people who are, you know, level 1 crypto users to level 2.
Yep.
Yeah, super exciting. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, Nick. Well, go rest, feel better, sir, and we will see you next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, bye.
See you, Nick. All right. That's awesome as always. I got a few more things here I kind of want to get into. The Tau subnets are going monumentum right now. They're actually flying. So let me check it. Where did I have that? So if you guys go over to taustats.io, it'll actually take you to the BitSensor thing. I was showcasing this on Monday with Jay, and it's pretty nuts what has happened since Monday. When we first got into this, it was kind of down only. So if you're just seeing this now, you really haven't missed much. You probably missed about 3 days of upward movements here, but so that's one thing. Best thing about Tau is you're actually earning the tokens as they go, right? So let's look at this week, the 1 week. So we got Nova up 724%. I was not lucky enough to get in this because I got in the mall, but I am reaping the benefits of holding Nova. Dojo up 170%. Protein folding. This is one of the bigger projects. So there is a team called Macro Cosmos. They have 5 subnets. This is one of the 5. They're actually using the 5 subnets for different things to create one ecosystem. It's really cool, but this is one of their ones. They're up 145%. Gradients is up 89%. Did I say that right? Gradients?
Gradients?
I don't know. It's something like that. Templar up 78%. Pre-training up 75. Monsters week, dude. Monsters week after it's kind of been down only for a long time. But shout out to the Tau ecosystem, guys. If you're not involved with this, I highly recommend just going over to taustats.io and just start exploring this. I truly believe that Tau is going to be monsters because they're basically just like Bitcoin. No pre-mine. 21 million supply. It's very decentralized and everything, but now they have these subnets things. I kind of wish Bitcoin would have did a subnet, or someone maybe do a subnet type thing for Bitcoin, because I think it would work, because there's really no like smart contracts or anything that's on Tau, right? So these are all just
I mean, you have to remember, like, when was Tau built? Like in
4 years ago.
Yeah, so I mean, that's a way different approach from a tech standpoint. Right? No one's going to build a blockchain in 2021, like how Bitcoin works. It just doesn't make sense.
I mean, they won't upgrade it either, so it must be working.
Yeah, but you definitely, like, there's not going to be a Bitcoin competitor, is what I'm trying to say. Like, because like you don't need another slow. You don't need another slow. I'm talking about like the way it works, like the slow security, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I'm just saying as a something that could be used as a store of value. BitTensor could be that. I mean, in the future, for
because
sure.
it does utilize like energy from GPUs and all that stuff. So there is a very similar kind of like, I know it doesn't say proof of work, but it's proof of intelligence, I think.
Yeah,
it's
proof of staking, proof of intelligence, and proof of compute. So the more energy you give it, where teams can actually come in and use that compute to power their AI without having to go to something like AWS or another one, right? You can just get a subnet and then get free compute, and then you actually get a token and stuff like that. So there's a lot of benefits. Dude, Tau's $300, dude. I see this thing flying. Not financial advice whatsoever, but I definitely see it flying. So definitely check out taustats.io. This is just one of the ones you can use. They have many different ones. So think of Taustats as just a validator, but you can use any validator you want. They're all you can do the staking with them as well. So but definitely check out that. But let's kind of get into the frogs and bitmaps leading the charge. Are ordinals about to explode in price? What do you think, dude? Do you think we see some upward momentum here?
I need to see another strong move by the frogs, and then I'm
Yeah.
convinced. Because we've seen in the past that they've been an early indicator, right? This is a pretty strong move for them, to get back above $1,000. They're sitting right now at 1,300, and so I'd like to see them get to like 2,000, and I would be convinced that okay, this is their first aggressive move, and let's see what happens with some of these other collections, right? But if we go back to November, there was a period of 4 months, I think, that followed that November, because I think the last month that ordinals were like uber aggressive was the node monk. Well, maybe even longer, dude, because like I think I let go of my node monks in like maybe May or June. So yeah, so
a year.
I don't expect, even if there is an ordinal run, I don't expect it to last that long, because it lasted a long time. You have to remember too, we were coming out of the bull run year of Bitcoin's ecosystem, the 2023 year when everything was new, ordinals, BRC20, stuff like that. So that's probably why it was probably like hyper aggressive. This time though could last 3 months if this is true, what I'm feeling right now. I do need to see that next aggressive move by the frogs first though.
Yeah. So I have two opinions on this. I don't think this is the beginning of explosion, just because of the fact I think Bitcoin is going to run to 120, but I do think the bottom is in. I definitely see them. I think if you're looking at a cash value, I think this is the cheapest you're going to be able to get them. And a Bitcoin value, I think in about 2 months you might have that bottom. Do you agree with that point? If Bitcoin just starts running down to 120?
Yeah, because we saw what happened last time when it ran aggressively. Like ordinals didn't benefit from it at all. I think that there's like the retail sector that's in, and they're pretty experienced people. They want to ride up with Bitcoin, so they get into Bitcoin, let it ride up. There will be a point, however, to where they feel like happy. They're satisfied with like where Bitcoin's gotten, and they feel like for a decent amount of time after that point, it's probably going to hover or maybe pull back just a little bit. And I think at that point will be like a repricing of Bitcoin layer 1 assets, because at that point they'll feel comfortable and confident of, okay, I just made a lot of profit. Bitcoin's at 180, 160, 180, 200,000, whatever it is. Let me go ahead and let's ignite this, the secondary market here.
Yeah, 100%. And you can actually put that into something like Arch as well. Like if Arch comes out and people start making a lot of money with these Arch tokens and stuff like that, you could see a lot of that money kind of pull into ordinals and with Odin as well. People start you're already kind of seeing. I think a lot of this money with Bitcoin Frogs is coming from Odin. People making a lot of money and recycling that. I mean, it's just one withdrawal and boom, you can buy a frog, right? So
or multiple.
It's really that simple. Or multiple frogs. Yeah, 100%. So, and I actually considered that. We had a really good day the other day, and I was sitting there and I was like, I should probably pull out a little bit of this and buy an ordinal, right? I'm already thinking about that because I do feel like these have bottomed against the dollar. But if you're thinking in Bitcoin terms, you might be able to get. See, I'm struggling with this because when I say that out loud, I'm like, I think the bottom against Bitcoin too. But like, I do know that Bitcoin's about to run and it's about to run hard. So it's really, I'm just really stuck there on a Bitcoin sense of bottoming, whether the bottom is in or not against Bitcoin. I do feel like it's against the dollar though.
Yeah, like I said, I because of the way it ran up late last year, and our ecosystem had a very short period of time of where it benefited, and it was the runes actually that did, if you remember.
Yeah.
Dog in October got back to I think 800, 900 million. $1 billion cat got to 150. Pups got to 350. But the ordinals didn't really hit that hard. This time around, when Bitcoin does find that level off period, I think everything hits hard. Not at the same time necessarily, but it'll be a hyper aggressive thing. I mean, look, I could be wrong about that, but I just feel like if there's going to be a repricing, in my opinion, that's how it's going to flow.
Yeah, 100%. So the runes, the layer 1 Bitcoin runes, right? They haven't really been doing anything. Do you see Dog down 20% on the week? Magic Internet Money down about 3.5% on the week, sitting at 40 million, which is a little up from earlier this week. Pups, same thing, 27 million. Billy sitting at 11. This is the
Woo!
lowest I've seen Billy since
I
November.
know.
So that's pretty wild. Gizmo, same thing. Are people not looking at these runes and maybe really kind of focused right now on what's going on in Odin and those runes?
Absolutely. I mean, it's obvious
Yeah.
because Odin's in everybody's face right now, right? And that's one of the reasons why I say that, you know, you and me kind of go back to like friendly debate about, you know,
Yeah.
does Odin need to onboard some of these OG runes? I think yes, and then there's times that I realize, okay, if that happens, you know, will it bring liquidity from those OG communities? I think some will come, but also I also think that some of the liquidity in some of these newer tokens might go if it makes sense. And they got to pump though. For example, how much can adding these OG runes to Odin's platform pump the OG runes? I think that you got to look at some of these opportunity ones though. Like for
Yeah.
example, I think one of the perfect runes to do it with is Mr. Yin. Why? 21 million supply, right? Already. Okay, bam, that matches all these. Also, market cap at like 258,000. That's like an actual like opportunity for Odin people too, right? So if it gets over there, it gets bridged over there, it starts at like 250. It's yes, you're not getting in at bonding, but you also have an amazing distribution already, like you know, comparative to like if it just launched on whatchamacallit, right? So you know, there could be situations like that. You know, but it's like, you know, I do see your points too, to where you're kind of like, well, people just want new stuff, so they might not pay attention to it, but it won't hurt the old, like the OG runes. If anything, it will take some liquidity away from the new ones. So that's where, you know, the problem could be.
The problem is too is if not enough people let's just say like 10 people bridge in Mr. Yen, right? Like there's not the liquidity pools are going to be so small that like
It won't make sense.
$500 buy, it would just be stupid.
It won't.
You would just you would just wreck the price, and then arbitragers will come in and arbitrage it back, right? So it's like you would need somebody to come in and grab a boatload of Mr. Yen. I'm talking like 30% of the supply, and then bridging it over. But then you have it in the hands of 30% supply in one person. So it's one of those things where it's like there's just not enough people here yet.
Unless they're just focused
Odin.
unless they're just focused on fees and they don't care, or not fees.
Yeah.
But yes, I do agree that like, and Bob even stated it too, that like, you know, for these OG runes to really come on board, there has to be a liquidity plan. You know, so something like $1 billion cat, they're really good at adding liquidity to new ecosystems.
Yeah.
Right. So like Bongo said that he's already been working with Bob and Odin. Infrastructure's ready, but you know, they just haven't back tested enough. I guess I don't know. Dog will probably be ready, but how will it like really, you know, interact and affect? Will it bring liquidity over? Because some people might come over because of that as well. Who knows? But one thing I do think that is one of their objectives, I'm sure, is to probably get Odin Dog to like $100 million long, you know, mid to long term, or mid goal, I would say. You know, get it to $100 million. You get Odin Dog to $100 million market cap. Now you're creating FOMO from outside the ecosystem to come and play more because they want to hit that next $100 million token.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I was thinking about like meme coins and stuff like that, something that like me and you could launch. And one thing popped in my head was Mr. Ben, American businessman. He loves his dog.
That's funny.
He loves his dog, man's best friend. So if somebody creates, I don't want to create that, but if somebody creates that, I'll support it. I'll jump in and we'll talk about it. Mr. Ben, American businessman. I don't want to launch it, but I will get in.
But if you know, if you see a Mr. Ben in like 5 minutes, you know who it is. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I will actually be happy.
Yeah, I will say this though. One of the to make it out of bonding with these launchpad pump fund style launch pads, like you know, Funky Bit's about to have one. I think they could have really good success. Rune Shot's about to have one. I think they could have really good success. You know, the hard part is the tokens that bond. So it's already hard to get to bonding.
Yeah.
After you bond though, like it's a fair launch, sure. Like people that see it, they get in. But because the top, 20 holders are so heavy in terms of percentage. The
Mhm.
distribution is not like, it's not healthy initially on almost every single token.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to get through this like treacherous, like almost kind of like it's not going to go straight up unless this has been planned from like the get-go, and you have like
Yeah.
wells ready to pour in like tens of millions of dollars into it. Then yeah, they can buy up every dip, and then that's not very common, by the way. What you have to do is you have to really get through it and have like a community strong enough to be able to get through like a good up, and then bunch of profit taking, and then bounce back. So we're seeing this. We notice, like that's why it's taking some of these to get up in high in
Yeah.
market cap, because the hodl culture has kind of gone down the drain, right? So it's starting to try to come back. We'll see if it does come back though.
Yeah, I think your point there, you nailed it, right? So it's kind of like, it took Odin Dog a month of hanging out between 700K and 1.5 million, right? It just took, up and back down. So you need a certain amount of time for people to kind of give up and new people to enter the market, right?
Yep.
Especially when I just felt like that month period was so healthy for something like Odin Dog and Odin Cat and a lot of the Bob runes, because they were all launched pre-launch, right? So that's why the Bob runes, in my opinion, did so well, because the tokens were very, very like distributed easily. A lot of people were buying $50. You had just holder counts were just growing, and you can kind of see that right now with Odin Dog. You have 5,000 holder counts, right? And then while something just launched like last week, for instance, only has like 1,000, right? So, and that's kind of what you need. You need a period of kind of sadness, right? But that's when people, I mean, it sucks, right? When you buy a coin and it rides up, and then immediately, like a couple of days later, just drops down and just goes sideways for a little bit. You kind of need that period though for people to give up on it, and also for new people to come in and say, this is an opportunity that a lot of people are bag holders in this. I want to be a part of this, just so so
yeah. Two things actually. So there's two kind of
Yeah.
ways it could kind of have eventually a healthy distribution. So first, almost every single one is not going to be healthy distribution. Let's get that out of the way. We about that, right? So there has to be a redistribution kind of thing. So you get out a lot of these like people that got in, maybe spent I don't know, $300 right whenever it launched, and now their $300 is like 15,000 or something, 10,000. Those are the guys that like whales don't want to enter this into, because they don't want them to dump on the whales don't want to get dumped on with that.
No.
So what can happen is they eventually, those type of people see the price kind of going down. They give up on it. They're like, oh, what's going on? You guys, they get out, right? And you have your profit takers that don't give a crap either way. They just literally just were like, I'm getting out at the top or whatever. So then once it's like you have the project is even worth re-entering or anything, you have whales watching it. And then they see like a lot of these top kind of distributed people that spent a couple $100s to get a bunch of money out. That's when I think like you have that first option of like whales coming in, buying up, because the whales, if they believe in it, they're going to hold. They're not going to sell right away. They're in this for a reason, right? Or whales don't really have any interest too much in it, and then but the project's still okay, and I think it's less likely for something like this to happen, for it to rebound. There has to be really good like marketing, community building and stuff, but like eventually that, like, you just grow the holder count by a ton, like like little bits, but everybody holds a little bit. That's the ideal situation. But both of those can kind of revive that situation out of this pump fund model. But the pump fund model, that's why a lot of people don't like it, is because it's not built for long-term holding. But when you do, when a project can get that, like something that has utility, right? Like Pep Odin could do that, because Pep Odin's is a alpha site, right? Or something like that. Dog, obviously, first is first. It's done that. It's done exactly what I just mentioned, right? But I think it has a little mixture of both. Heavy whales as well as distribution. So
to your point, look at this distribution. Like, obviously we do know that Diamond Paws, who's had Diamond Paws this entire time, and then Bob, obviously, right? But then it really drops off. You do have a couple of these guys. Pega, man, this guy is like the ultimate trader. Screw this
farmer
guy.
But,
definitely making money. Shout out to him. But
he will FUD projects, by the way. Just know that he's FUDing it on purpose. The guy has probably like close to $1 million in here, and he's still like just trying to like like clip. He's literally trying to like farm and just clip you guys. And I'm just sitting there like, what the heck, bro? Like you already have like almost $1 million. What, you greedy bastard. But anyways,
he wants more money. But but then you just have, 0.6, like it's really low. And then you go to something like, that's newer, for instance, right? You see there's super high, right? So that's something like Facts, right? I think Facts actually had a low point. This is something brand new that just dropped, right?
well, no,
Okay, it really
so
didn't
yeah,
have a low point yet.
it launched a month ago.
Oh wow.
It launched a month ago, but it got
Wow.
revived today. But
Do you know how it got revived or why? This came out of nowhere.
I'm sure there's like these little cabals forming over here, and they're like, let's take this one up. So.
Yeah, that's true. Going to grab tokens that have already bonded and ripping them up and stuff like that. So, but yeah, man. So it's a lot of PvP right now, player versus player. I don't see a lot of new money entering the system. I wish there was a way to check new money entering and new money flowing out. I wish, because that would actually really help as a trader just kind of see what's going on. When you see a lot of money flowing out, maybe it's time to kind of dump your bags a little bit. And when you see money flow in, maybe it would be time to buy. I would love to, maybe the guys at Pelga can actually have something like that where they can track the buys and stuff like that. Maybe we'll ask him that. So, but yeah, man. And the last thing I have for today would be question to you. Will Block Chain Racing Club drop a token on Odin Fun? He had a tweet says, I only participate so I can innovate. Do you get it? So he's been teasing this. He's been farming it. He's a yapper too. He earns the yaps. So he's loving the engagement. He was getting like no engagement a week ago, like 7 likes. Like he was posting all day and getting absolutely nothing, just like everyone else. Like no difference with us. Same thing. But out of nowhere, he's getting 70 likes. He is loving the engagement right now. He does not want it to end. Do you think this is just a ploy to kind of keep it up? He's not a rune guy, right? But he could drop the first BRC20 on Odin. But what do you think? I'm just curious of your opinion.
Yeah, I think he does. I think he drops it. But
Yeah.
I think he's actually doing it right because he's trying to build more and more anticipation. I mean, you can see like he's getting a lot of engagement. He's, it's true. Like people are going to be waiting for this a lot, and he has a good connection with the Chinese community, and obviously people in the West know him as well. So I think he doesn't want another. How high did Glizzy get to? 3 million.
Yeah, around there.
Okay.
But Glizzy Fractal was terrible.
So my point that I'm making is that I think he wants something that can be at least comparable to like some of those powerful BRC20 launches that happen with the OSD guys and stuff. And to do that, you really need to get people on board and like not a quick little okay, I'm launching this now, type of thing. So I think he's doing it right, honestly, even though it is annoying. I stayed up late last night and I got to a point I don't care. I'm just going to sleep now. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like if I miss it, I miss it. But anyhow, yeah. So if I miss it, I miss out. I'm not so worried about it. But if I get in, I get in, and we're gonna see though if this truly does work, kind of drawing it out, because one thing we have noticed like with Odin is that top market cap of 20 to 25 million, that has been established. That mid market cap has not for number 2. It just has not been established. We've seen several tokens, get to 3 million and pull back, and 3 million and fluctuate between 1 and 3 million. And there hasn't been a 5 million or a 10 million. It just hasn't happened. And so, we'll see if this can maybe do that, or first they got to get to 1 million, right? And we'll see.
If Block does this and it's a BRC20, he gives it to Bob, and it becomes the number 1 token. Let's just say he does the impossible and beats out Odin Dog, becomes that number 1 spot. Do you think that you see just a full an insane amount of BRC20s just being launched?
Well, if Bob's team is doing it, to where maybe they'll change the back end and say you can select BRC25 ticker or Rune. But if it has to be manual, like what you said with Block sending it to him, I don't think so. But if it's like to where Odin.fun has it built into their back end mechanism, then we could see that happen.
They could be doing that now. That could be what Block's waiting for.
Yeah,
right?
maybe.
Odin, he might be saying, "Yo, hold on, we're going to add an option So you can change it from Rune to BRC20. But do you think that because we do know that the Chinese community, the East, they really enjoy BRC20s, and especially in this type of Solana atmosphere that Odin.fun is, right? The absolute insanity of go as fast as you want with no gas, right? Right, that's just like the best part. No gas fee whatsoever. I remember, paying $70 for a transfer inscription and then $70 to sell the damn thing at one point when Rats was
that's when
flying.
money was good.
I know.
That's when money was. That's when beer was flowing in the streets.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I guess my next question is, why do you think that the Chinese community, that seems to be really, that's in his DMs, is so bullish on Block right now? Is it loyalty?
No, I think it's probably those memories from the BRC20 days. But I don't think they care too much about like on Odin if it's a Rune or a BRC20 over here. I think Block does, because I think there's people that are like, they're really tied to this kind of debate of token standard, almost to the point where it gets into their to their pride. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't gonna come on here. Like it took a lot of people to tell him to be like, hey dude, open your mind. And he was like upset. He wasn't talking to people, right?
Yeah, no.
And now he's open about it. So I think for him it's a big deal. Probably not for the users. The users are like, China just wants to make money. The US guys or the Western communities just want to, number go up. That's all they care about.
In my opinion, though, they look at Block as somebody who helped enrich them. Right, he's one of the bigger people with Sats. Right, Sats was a huge Chinese.
He marketed it. Yeah,
he was the top guy. I don't care what anyone says. Sats, that was Block's baby. People got into that. Obviously, you've seen a Unisat, but at that time, like Block was such a huge figure in BRC20s. If he said a 4-letter ticker name, it mooned. Like it was like insane. I remember I was working back then, being at my job, and this Block saying like, I wish this blah 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 was a token, and next thing I know, it's at a $16 million market cap. Like it was absolute insanity, and I think they want to replicate that. Kind of to your point earlier, they saw it like what he did with BRC20s as success, and maybe want to bring that back. Right? Do you think it works? Do you think this token can get to 10 million, or will it fizzle out like everything else?
I mean, like as I've seen here the past couple of days, it's hard. Yeah. It's hard because there's a lot of PvP right now happening in the space, and we're gonna see how much of an impact, because like you have to remember, selling BRC20s is not as easy as it was to get in and out of these. So there's this UI experience that the Bitcoin ecosystem has longed for so much for fungible tokens. But then they also, including myself too, like you get kind of slapped in the face when you're like, oh my God, like it's actually harder initially to get the market cap going. But if you can get it going and, there's enough liquidity, it can really thrust up really high. But during those days of, the fall of 2023 and, you had the transfer inscription, all that stuff. It's actually easier in those days because it was a pain in the butt to really sell a lot.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. I think if he hits 10 million, it's a huge success. If he's 10 million on like first day, even second day, huge success because I haven't seen anything other than Odin Dog get there. I haven't even really seen it like get close, like a number 2. So we'll see.
What do you think about 10 million and 2 million? Is that still a success?
What? 10 million,
it hits 10 million and then comes back down to 2?
Yeah. If it gets to 10 million at all, it's a success. So
because I think it's going to do very similar to what a lot of the other tokens do. If he launches this, it's going to run up I think it runs up to 14-16 million. I do. And then it's the most hyped coin that I've ever seen on Odin so far. Right, probably by Super X, but Super X, it was very out
of nowhere.
You didn't see a lot of people. It was out of nowhere. It wasn't the way Block. Yeah, exactly to your point. It was out of nowhere. Block's hyping it up. He probably won't do it for like another week or so, and then when he does it, it's gonna have a lot of hype. This thing can fly up, but if it does drop, I wouldn't be discouraged though. I think Block is gonna be somebody. I think Leonidas strives to be how Block used to be, right? Block was like the master pumper of his tokens, and very similar to what Leonidas is doing today. So, with Dog,
yeah.
But I think that's our show today. Really appreciate you guys. 452 people in here right now, not including Spotify, Twitch, Rumble, and not Arbitrum, Abstract. But shout out to every you got all you guys on those platforms as well. But that's our show.
Yes, it is, and we appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for just paying attention, watching. The support is amazing. We thank you so much for that. If you could check out our partners, we greatly appreciate it. Emblem Vault is the interoperability tool for Bitcoin's ecosystem, more specifically the ordinals on layer 1. You're going to be able to jump your ordinals, your puppets, your node monks, your frogs from Bitcoin layer 1 to Merlin, Bitcoin layer 2 to Abstract to Arbitrum to Base. That's just the first round of EVM chains, and then eventually Solana. They're going to be everywhere. You can also utilize our Bitcoin AI wallet agent product, Agent Hustle. You can prompt him to actually do the vaulting for you to jump them, as well as make sure you check out their Emblem Vault Founder keys, which right now they're in the secondary market. It's kind of like a pre-sale to where you can buy them on OpenSea. They're an ERC 721 format right now. They're only trading as an NFT, but on the week of the 17th of September, you're going to be able to actually open those vaults up, and there's going to be 2 million runes in there for your Bitcoin wallet, and that will be the TGE there. So you can learn about all this at emblem.vision. And then BetBTC is the predictions marketplace of the Bitcoin ecosystem. They utilize ICP and Bitcoin technology for you guys to be able to place bets on their markets. All you need is an Xverse wallet, 6 blocks, and some Bitcoin. You can start placing bets right away. They announced that they have their 10-minute markets that's going to be live, should be live by tomorrow, if not latest Monday. But you're going to be able to, basically long or short, call or put, whatever you want to call it, up or down for Bitcoin, Solana, BNB, and it lasts only 10 minutes, right? So in 10 minutes, if you're right, you get paid out right then. So it's going to be really, really fun. Also, they're going to have create your own markets that you can earn up to 1.5% in the future of the total volume. So super, super exciting stuff. You can learn about all this at betbtc.win. And then Artura Finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. You saw me on their platform earlier. You're going to be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin ecosystem tokens on their platform, like Doggo to the Moon or Ordi, as well as some stuff outside of the popular ones outside of the ecosystem, like Pepe, stuff like Trump token, stuff like that. So super exciting stuff. Just visit at artura.finance to learn more there. And then Fluid Tokens, they are the ones that first to offer you guys retail staking vaults on Bitcoin Layer 1. If you are an Ordinal collection founder and you have an established community, you can reach out to Raul, which is the CTO of Fluid Tokens, to get a staking vault established for you guys. It's all Bitcoin Layer 1. It's all non-custodial. So all your users will actually have their assets in one of the wallets that is under their main account. It's locked until a future block, and then they will get that award as well as their assets unlocked during that time. It's super exciting stuff, guys. They also are working on Aquarium, which is the interoperability tool between Bitcoin and Cardano. There's a lot of exciting stuff with that, guys. If you have any type of node management background or anything like that, you can utilize FLDT. I think it's 30,000 FLDT, and you manage a node or partner with someone that manages a node, and you can earn more FLDT, guys. Super exciting stuff there. You can learn more about all this at fluidtokens.com. And then Merlin Chain, your #1 scaling solution for Bitcoin native L1 assets and protocol. If you are a builder on Bitcoin Layer 1, you want your protocol a bit more flexible, quick, reach out to Merlin Chain's team and apply for a builder's grant. A couple of our partners got into that program, so it is definitely possible. Also, retail users, if you want to trade, swap for a Doggo to the Moon, you can do so at merlinswap.org. They have a nice size liquidity pool over there. I believe it's $500,000. Really simple, quick to be able to trade over there. You can learn about Merlin Chain at merlinchain.io. And last thing about Merlin Chain is right now they're doing the proof of stake to secure the chain until they start finalizing on Bitcoin Layer 1. Right now, you can earn up to 15% is actually the APR for Merlin token. So really solid deal in my opinion. And that's open, and you can go in and out as you please. There is a 7-day period once you come out, though. You got a waiting period. You got to know that. And then also don't forget about our integrated partners and Foxy AI building the metaverse on Bitcoin called the Bitverse, and the first-person shooter game called Clan Wars, which we typically will stream. We're going to probably have a new date and time for that. We'll let you know once the next one is ready. So pay attention to that. And Ordinal Hive is the Ordinal aggregator marketplace for Bitcoin layer 1 and layer 2. It's the cheapest ordinals around are going to be on Ordinal Hive. And we thank you guys so much for checking out our partners.
Yeah, and guys, Ordinal Hive is going to have a space in 1 hour from right now. Just go over to their main page. It's Ordinal Hive, and join that space. It's actually going to be really awesome. You're going to have, it looks like BitPerp's going to be joining as well. BitPerp will be there. Fluid will be there. A lot of our partners, guys. Definitely check out. Let me show the thing right here. Go here. Start the reminder. Artura, yeah, sorry, Artura is going to be there, and Fluid's going to be there as well. So definitely check the space out. It's going to be fun. It's 1 hour from right now. We will both be there, co-hosting. It's going to be fun. Join us over there.
Are you sure they're going to be there? Because
they just tweeted, dude.
Okay, cool, awesome.
Yeah. So and then which yeah, I was a little shocked by, but it should be cool. It should be awesome. And then so the comments. Real quick, PJNZ says GM all slept in today's. Oops, we'll replay and watch. Webdro is here. Izatoshi is here. Kenta, and then we had a couple people from, I guess, from the Arch Army here. Hey Nick and Shizin Yagobi, Arch Future BTC. Shout out to all you guys, man. Definitely. And if you guys don't have a few more minutes, if you guys have a few more minutes, wouldn't mind checking out OnChain Revolution.io. Check this out, guys. It is going to be awesome because you can come here, you can go check out all of the articles dating all the way back to last year. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. If you guys need a VPN, you got Nord VPN. Check that out. We got a 70% off coupon. If you know someone who needs a VPN, send them our site as well. We really feel like it can help them, but there's no reason to not have VPN. There's no reason to go to these websites and just kind of give them your IP. You don't want that. I don't want that, guys. Get a VPN. If it's not Nord, get another one. There's free ones out there. But in my opinion, paying $3 a month for Nord, which is the best, in my opinion, definitely check it out. If you guys need tickets to Bitcoin at 2025 Las Vegas, we got it up here, guys. Do not wait. Do not wait till tomorrow. Really, if you're gonna get them today, because they seem to go up every Friday. Right now, it's about $1,500 for a industry pass. You do have the festival pass is like $600, but you're gonna see that over $1,000 really soon. So definitely check out the tickets, get them as soon as possible. Do not wait till May for the event. If you guys need merch for that event or any event, check out our store and our store right there, and that'll take you to our some of the best merch in all of Ordinals, crypto, and everything else, guys. We got amazing clothing there. Check everything out there at the store. Guys, we are live Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 4 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys, and until tomorrow.
Peace.
OnChain revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough. No. You not bullish enough. No. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.